everyone, Lou here. We're back at it again, folks. Time for me to do another video talking about Black Butler because we all know I'm a major fangirl for it. If you couldn't tell already by the title and thumbnail for it, today I'll be reviewing Black Butler Season 1. Roll the intro and let's get started. Black Butler Season 1 was released in October 2008 and ended in March 2009. The studio who animated it was A1 Pictures, and it was directed by Shinohara Toshiya, known for anime like the first Inuyasha movie. He's mostly a storyboarder and single episode director, so this is one of the few anime he's fully directed. Though the anime did introduce thousands of fans into Black Butler, and I'm forever grateful for this series for introducing it to me to the brilliance of the manga and later the book of series, I'm not gonna sit here and say it aged well, especially with the book of series being a better version of the story. Another thing is I will be spoiling the manga, probably up to the current chapter of 153 at the time of writing this script, because Season 1 hints at a lot of things for the manga, and I want to talk about it because it's cool. Alright, let's begin. The year is 1889, and the current Earl of Phantomhive is Ciel Phantomhive, a 13-year-old boy whose parents were brutally murdered on his 10th birthday. The night his parents were murdered, he was kidnapped and sold to a cult. Though in the anime it's implied the cult themselves kidnapped him, the cult brutally tortured and assaulted him. This burning hatred and rage caused him to summon a demon named Sebastian, who he named after his dog. Though his last name of Michaelis refers to the Japanese word makeri, which means repayment, likely something Sebastian chose to signify his contract with Ciel. The contract entails that Ciel gets revenge on whoever killed his parents by killing them, and Sebastian would eat his soul after, though easier said than done when Ciel is the Queen's guard dog. Basically, he's in charge of dealing with cases too nasty for Scotland Yard to deal with, like serial kidnappings of children, murderers, and shutting down cults. Though he's not completely alone in his duties, he has 3 servants, Barjoy, Finian, and Mayrin. All 3 are pretty terrible at their job, but they are extremely skilled in protecting him, so they're more like bodyguards who act like they have a normal job. First arc in the series is the Jack the Ripper arc, where Ciel finds out his aunt is Jack the Ripper because she's angry at prostitutes for having illegal abortions. Before she can be arrested and punished for her crimes, she's killed by Grell Sutcliffe, who is a Grim Reaper disguising herself as a butler. Before anyone says, the manga and other material Yana Tomoso proves up makes it stupidly obvious that Grell is a transgender woman, so I will refer to her by her proper pronouns. Fight me all you want in the comments, but literally every manga translation by Yen Press even says that Grell refers to herself with big sister pronouns often associated with transgender women characters. Just saying. After Jack the Ripper, we have Houndsworth, where we meet... I will get to this stupid fucking dog. I love dogs, but my gosh, do I fucking hate Pluto. Basically, a demon dog is haunting a town obsessed with dog fights, and they find out it's this motherfucker, and this woman named Angela begs Ciel to take him in. This fucking dog pretty much breaks the series, if I'm being honest. The whole point of Black Butler is no one is supposed to know Sebastian is a demon. Absolutely no one. So when you have this giant fucking dog that turns into a naked man whenever he feels like it, gee, it kind of ruins any semblance of realism that Yana is known for trying to have. Not to mention, he makes for the absolute worst filler of Season 1. After that, we have Ciel's birthday arc. Now, I forgot to mention this, but Ciel is betrothed to an adorable girl named Elizabeth Midford, who, yes, is his cousin. Unfortunately, it was very common to date and marry your cousin in the Victorian era. I mean, I still ship it, but this is a Game of Thrones situation where I kind of just have to roll my eyes and shrug it off because it's the era, my dudes. Though Season 1 never states they are, which is a little weird, but Season 1 leaves a lot of important details out of the manga, so Anyway, Elizabeth had broken Ciel's ring much earlier in the series, but Sebastian fixed it. She didn't know this, but tried to buy him a new one only to see the ring was fixed, so she feels guilty and useless to Ciel, where she meets this doll man named Drossel Kynes, who kidnaps her and tries to turn her into a doll. Ciel stops him and finds out this Drossel man is associated with the cult who kidnapped him. This leads to showing Angela again, who, yay, isn't she the best character with how little we know about her 12 episodes in already? Next is the Curry arc, which revolves around Ciel meeting Prince Soma Asman Kadar, the 26th child to the Raja of Bengal, India. So what do you know? He's a prince! He has a servant named Agni who is, It's kind of hard to explain Agni because I don't really know much about Indian culture, but basically he was part of a group of holy men who serve the gods, and it's to a point where Agni has the right hand of a god, I think, so that technically makes him a demigod. It's very strange, but I always thought of Agni as some type of demigod, so there you go. Soma needs help in finding his nanny, Mina, because he was very attached to her as a child, but Soma is a spoiled brat who thinks he's entitled to everything. It's only after a tantrum that he learns to be more charitable and understand that nothing 100% belongs to him, and becomes a better person as a result. That's when everyone eats curry buns and becomes evil. To this day, I don't understand what the hell happened there because it's so badly explained that I don't get it. Mina turns out to be a bitch, but Soma now calls Ciel his best friend, while Agni and Sebastian have a friendship too. Agni being Sebastian's first friend, so they live at the townhouse and watch over it for Ciel. Next, Ciel is to investigate a cult who stole a doomsday book? How Queen Victoria has a doomsday book is beyond me. Anyway, we also meet Ashlanders, who is the Queen's butler. Gee, he sure does look familiar. I wonder if he's related to Angela. After Sebastian bangs a nun, no, I'm not joking by the way, Ciel joins the cult to try and get a little more information, only to find out that somehow the corpse of his father was reanimated, which doesn't make any fucking sense because the anime shows his parents were left for dead when it was on fire, but let's just continue. In this cult, we find out that Angela Blanc killed Ciel's parents and stitched their bodies together like a sick fuck. Why? So their bodies could be one and pure. Just wait, folks. This gets even weirder. Once the task is done, Ciel is now asked to investigate a series of murders involving opium, which somehow goes back to him, because these balls of opium were planted inside the factory of his company Funtum, which makes candies and toys for children. He's arrested, where we get to know Fred Aberline, a real-life detective for Scotland Yard who worked on the Jack the Ripper case, and somehow becomes a father figure to Ciel for 0.2 seconds before we find out Lau is the one hiding these drugs because I'm not actually sure, but Lau is obviously a snake from day one, so it's not really surprising, but his motive is just really wonky. Basically, Lau wants to cause another war between China and England, I think, which doesn't make any sense because Lau apparently lost a sister in this war in the anime and it traumatized him in the anime, so does he think China's gonna win Opium Wars 2 Electric Boogaloo? Anyway, Sebastian is held prisoner while Ciel and Aberline try to solve the case. And guess who's behind the drug called Lady Blanc? Angela Blanc. What a surprise! She shows up and starts BDSM whipping Sebastian because reasons? Okay, she actually wants to purify a demon. Lady, purifying a demon is just as stupid as trying to turn mouthwash into drinking water. After finding out Lao is being a two-faced snake, which I don't know why this is a plot twist, because literally anyone who looks at Lao knows he's a backstabber, but whatever. Lao kills Aberline, which doesn't make any sense, because the real Fred Aberline didn't die until 1929, but they explain it with his twin brother Edward Aberline in Season 2, who looks closer to his manga design, and has the exact same personality as Fred in the manga, which doesn't make any sense, because Fred says he doesn't have any siblings or parents in this season, which is why he takes on this father-like role to Ciel, because he understands what it's like to be all alone. But Season 2 basically ruins what this anime was already trying to do pretty sloppily already, but whatever. Ciel feels like 2% guilty for it, but heads to the 1889 World's Fair in France, where we finally get to see the Queen of England, and she's a lolly. Now, why is Queen Victoria a lolly? Historically speaking, Queen Victoria was pretty short at about 5 feet tall, and she did wear funeral veils a lot due to her grief over the loss of her husband. So I guess there's creativity there, but that's kind of ruined when there's photos of her after Albert's death, but whatever, I guess. Ash explains he's contracted to Victoria because she tried to kill herself out of grief, so he decided to make her eternally young so she's pure, and then somehow cuts up her body but keeps her alive and stitches her body to her dead husband's body to keep them as one pure being. It's here we find out Ash's full motive. He wants to cleanse the world. How? By killing everyone and lighting all of London on fire. Now, why does he want to purify everyone? We never know. Some say it's possible Ash is a fallen angel, explaining how he's able to contract with humans, and he's trying to purify everyone to get the big G to be proud of him so he can go back into the pearly gates of heaven. Now, that is just a theory, though. Even if it does make the most logical sense, the anime itself just never explained it. Anyway, the reason Ciel's parents were killed was because the queen wanted to purify them first because they were so loyal to her and fuse their bodies together so their souls would become one in heaven. Basically, Queen Victoria's batshit loony lolly and needs to be stopped. Just before Ash and the Queen can be killed, we get this subplot where Sebastian abandons Ciel for literally no other reason than he had a dream about Arthur trying to convince him to give up revenge, which is really weird because he says he won't. So this somehow makes Sebastian test Ciel's loyalty for literally no reason. So out of nowhere, Pluto finally does something and starts to light all of London on fire. Now, why is no one talking about a giant wolf lighting all of London on fire? Who knows? Sebastian looks on and acts like Ciel cancelled his contract, which he didn't. Ash shows up where we find out that Angela and Ash are the same person, and she or he, whichever, because they can switch genders at will. Basically, Angela asks Ash to join her, to which Sebastian clearly says no, and it's to a point where she basically says she wants to sleep with Sebastian. I mean, fair enough, we all want to bang Sebastian, but this last minute thing of Angela having the hots for Sebastian is so dumb. And this stupid subplot is like near the end, so it just feels like wasted filler. Ciel tries to kill the queen, but Ash beats him to it or something, and he's literally gunned down and killed. But somehow the contract keeps him alive? I think this stupid subplot of Sebastian abandoning him is literally because someone wanted this shot to work. Not even kidding. Sebastian kills the crazy angel but gets his arm cut off, which we all know is how the bullshit in Season 2 starts. And he takes Ciel to the island of demons or something and eats his soul. The end. Not really, because Season 2 happens. Link for Season 2's review is in the iCard in the corner, by the way. Now, this story is really fucking dumb, let's be honest. My guess, based off the foreshadowing, is that Yana Toboso told them the basic outline for how she wanted Black Butler to end, and tried to make a twist on it and make it their own, but failed miserably. Pluto is absolute garbage and makes the worst filler arc I've seen in anime since the gosh damn virtual world arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ash's motives make no sense, and the whole story tries to dive way too much into fantasy when half the intrigue of Black Butler is Yana's way of combining real-world trends of the Victorian era, like blood transfusions, and running with the assumption of that trend, like blood transfusions being used to bring people back from the dead. And the fact is that it introduces so many things that make them so vague, it's frustrating because there are details that would have been amazing if fleshed out more. Introducing Ciel to this cult who kidnapped him would have opened a door for some interesting character trauma, and showing him to the full trauma of his parents being sewn together and reanimated would have been so much greater if we actually got to see his reaction to their face before they were killed by Sebastian. Pluto being a naked man who acts like a dog is not only just unneeded fan service, but is also just really awkward and not that funny, to be honest. Overall, the story is wasted potential and often makes up bullshit because it wants to get from A to B but doesn't know how to properly write getting to B. This is an unfortunate part because the characters in Black Butler is part of the reason I love the series so much, but Season 1's writing for these characters is complete garbage in comparison to the manga and the book of series, and often relies on status quo resets of them if they aren't involved in the plot too much. Ciel Phantomhive. They get his character right for maybe the pilot chapter, and that's it. The anime honestly kind of makes him an asshole when in the manga, Ciel is shown to be very tough, but also very kind when it comes to the people he meets with a good enough heart. He's actually the one who named Finian and bought Mayrin her glasses. They also forgot to show how easily flustered he is, showing that he's still a child in some sense too. Trust me, if anyone knows Ciel Phantomhive's personality by now, it's me, as I've been roleplaying him on and off Tumblr for damn near a decade. Sebastian Michaelis. Probably the most accurate character out of everyone here, though honestly Sebastian's decision to just abandon Ciel out of nowhere is so out of character that I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they stole that from a fan fiction. Throughout the series, Sebastian is shown to be extremely loyal to Ciel because of their contract, so for him to just assume Ciel had a dream where someone else told him to forget revenge is just stupid. Grell Sutcliffe. Oh, Grell, what did they do to you? In the manga, Grell is a flirtatious badass whose personality is basically a murderous Bayonetta. Okay, more murderous Bayonetta. In the anime, Grell is an absolute fangirl who loves her Sebastian and would do anything for him. Oh, did I mention she has cute scissors now? And does anything for even a kiss from her senpai? Basically, she's comedy relief, and it's so obnoxious. Grell is in no way comedy relief. Yeah, she does funny things, but she's not the butt of a joke. I'm sorry, but Book of the Atlantic is my Grell Sutcliffe, a fabulous lady with a Chanel notebook, not whatever joke this Grell is. Elizabeth Midford. The way they handled Elizabeth in this anime pisses me off so damn much. They basically make her a loud idiot who acts like an airhead and has no idea how to protect herself, even though Ciel is the queen's guard dog. In the manga, Elizabeth is at the top of her fencing class, struggles a lot with herself, and only pretends to be cutesy and an airhead because women of the era were raised to be that way. Like, Elizabeth's whole arc in Book of the Atlantic immediately turned her into one of my favorite characters in the series, and one of my favorite characters to fandom. This Elizabeth in the anime is just the angry fanfic writer's version. And the reason it pisses me off so much is because a lot of people use this version of Elizabeth to say why they hate her so much, which is basically like saying they hate Edward Elric because of the 2003 anime. You can hate Season 1 Elizabeth all you want, but if you hate manga Elizabeth and Book of Circus or Atlantic Elizabeth, that's just dumb, I'm sorry. Hashtag Lizziedefensesquad, people. Pluto. The burning rage that fills within me because of this stupid dog. As I said earlier, not only does Pluto break the series, but he's also only useful at the very end for lighting London on fire. His whole personality is just cringeworthy too, because he's literally just a dog. Not even a good dog. He's the dog that ate your goddamn burrito you left on the table and destroys your couch cushions. What's funny to me is Pluto is clearly a stand-in for Snake in the manga, except they probably heard Yana say, "Oh yeah, so Ciel gets this new servant who's associated with an animal," and went, "Boys, naked werewolf who acts like a dog." Basically, you know those movies where grown men switch brains with a dog and it's the cringiest thing ever you've seen in your life? That's Pluto, but amped up and just really annoying. Angela/Ash. Easily the worst character in this entire season. Their motives make no sense, they have no backstory to explain their actions, and the weird lust for Sebastian is just a last-minute shock that does nothing. Isn't the whole point of an angel to protect humans and make sure they don't do anything bad, like, I don't know, make contract with demons or something? I get that it's probably the age-old twist of, ooh, the angel was evil all along. Except guess what, fam? Devilman did it better, and so did a million other anime featuring angelic characters. Yes, even Kaworu from Evangelion is a better angel than Angela and Ash. Everyone else here is basically a watered-down version of their manga counterpart. It's not too bad for some characters like Lau, Finian, Undertaker, and William T. Spears, but it does heavily hinder the characters listed earlier. It's not as bad as Season 2 though, where everyone basically stays status quo with zero character development that transitions over. Now, part of me really likes the animation. It's definitely a perfect recreation of Yana's artwork from that time. Now, I think the animation and art was definitely consistent, and I didn't really notice any drops in quality, aside from filler arcs, because, you know, filler arcs have those for obvious reasons. Strap in your boots, folks. This anime does actually heavily hint at events that are now current in the manga. Oh gosh, this is a difficult one. Undertaker being a Reaper. At the time this anime was released, the Luxury Liner arc was not released until 2011, so you can imagine the reactions fans had when the anime first predicted Undertaker being a Reaper. Pluto was a stand-in for Snake as the circus arc was still ongoing at the time of Season 1's release, so it's likely Yana vaguely hinted at Snake and made Pluto as a stand-in. Drossel Kynes is a stand-in for Joker visually. Likely as a weird cameo because there wasn't enough material of the circus arc yet to fully animate it. Elizabeth running away from home because of the past with Ciel and ends up getting brainwashed as a result. A family member of Ciel's being brought back from the dead, though it's real Ciel in the manga and Ciel's parents in the anime. People being brought back to life as dolls. In the anime, it's regular ball-jointed dolls, but in the manga, it's Undertaker's bizarre dolls who are zombies, I guess, though now they're extremely complicated vampires or something. Queen Victoria having butlers all in white. In the anime, it's only Ash Landers, while in the manga, it's the Double Charles and John Brown. Though it's kind of obvious by now that John Brown is clearly a guardian angel or something supernatural. Ciel's father, Vincent. Vincent's full appearance and name was not shown until near the end of the circus arc at the time. We only knew he had dark blue hair because of Madame Red's flashback to meeting him, but never called Vincent by his name until the end of the circus arc. This lady, as of chapter 153, who suspiciously looks like Angela, Mayrin walking in on someone getting spicy with a maid, Ciel getting framed for a series of murders he didn't commit, Scotland Yard betraying him because of this so he has very few people he can trust, and finally, Barjoy, Finian, and Mayrin's backstories. None of their backstories were revealed in full detail until the end of the circus arc when halfway through the murder mystery arc. There's probably a fuck ton more, but currently the manga is still ongoing, so I'll probably talk more about it on my social media or something as chapters come out. Look, if you really want to get into Black Butler, watch the anime in this order. Episodes 2 through 6 and episodes 13 to 15. But stop after everyone goes crazy because that doesn't happen in the manga. Instead, after someone finds out Nina's a bitch, Lau secretly kills her and her husband because he's Lau. Then when you're done with that, skip and hop right over to the book of anime because honestly season 1 is not good, to be honest. The only parts that are good are the ones adapted from the manga. I'm not saying all anime should follow its manga to a T, but Black Butler in particular is one that needs to stick to its manga because honestly no other writer can do it properly. We know that because the original anime moments and the entirety of season 2 that wasn't Alois and Claude are all hot garbage that absolutely makes no sense. Yana writes her story in a way that brilliantly combines supernatural elements and real-world assumptions of the Victorian era. as a huge example here. The real Jack the Ripper's identity was never discovered, but a lot of theories suggest it was either a woman or a doctor. What did Yana do? Ciel's aunt, Madame Red, is a woman who couldn't have children and was a doctor. A perfect motive and combination of two theories. You see what I mean? It's that kind of brilliance that makes me highly suggest that people stick to the material for Black Butler that's the source. Because that's the only way people are going to get the best experience possible, and why so many people love this series so much. But I don't hate Season 1 entirely, mostly because I'm incredibly grateful to it. If Season 1 was never made, it would have never had a doll line. If that doll line was never made, I never would have gotten into the series. Now look at me, I never shut up about the series. Hope everyone did enjoy this review though. Let me know down below if you want a review of the OVAs for Black Butler or the Book of Circus series, because I really do love making Black Butler videos. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. And if any old or new subs would like to help support the channel in any way, then feel free to visit my Ko-fi page down below in the description, along with my social media tabs. For any subscribers, new or old, who'd like to help with video ideas or maybe want to talk about anime or something, then I have a fan server linked down below. See you next time!